So before we dive right into our passage today, let's just do a little recap to give some context to our passage and refresh our memories. A while back, you might remember we discussed the deliverance of the people of Israel from slavery in the land of Egypt. How they wandered around for a good while before being led home. Now, when they get out to the desert, Moses has some business to attend to with God. So Moses goes up to the mountain to have a chat with God, and he tells the people to stand by. He says, I've got to get further directions for us. I'll be back. So Moses is up there taking notes about how God wants God's people to live with one another, getting all the rules down in some big stone tablets. Everything's going well. But the problem is that the people are waiting for Moses and waiting and waiting. And the cell service out there, it's really bad. So, who knows? Did Moses get eaten by a bear? Did he trip and fall on his way back down? I don't know, but it seems like he's never coming back. The people grow frustrated and anxious. So they ask Moses' brother Aaron to figure something out. Make gods for us that will lead us on. We're just waiting here. So Aaron's like, well, okay, everyone, take off your jewelry and hand it over. No, he doesn't run off with it. Stick with me here. He melts what they gave him, and he turns it into a golden calf. So literally, the people take their jewelry that was made by people, melt it into a golden calf, literally made by them, and then worship it. But then they take it even a step further and declare to all the peoples in chapter 32, verse 4, these are your gods, Israel, who led you out of Egypt. Really? I mean, come on, Israel, right? Well, now we have to remember they had just come from Egypt. And who were they in Egypt? They were slaves. In this, the religions of their captors was most likely forced upon them. The calf image idea most likely just didn't come to Aaron out of thin air and the people. The calf image was likely symbolic of the Egyptian bull god. So, the people are now partying on. Mr. Moses is nowhere to be found, and there's a new golden god in town. Everyone's dancing, partying, and carrying on, and then, out of breath, walks in, lo and behold, you guessed it, Mr. Moses. Hey guys, sorry it took me so long. I couldn't find a chisel to write these tablets and on the law, and what's going on here? Aaron? What the? So yeah, awkward, as you can imagine. Of course, Moses then tells them, you all have messed up, big time. But I'm going back up to the mountain to see if I can clear your name. Don't do anything stupid while I'm gone. I'm imagining that part. So after some long, heavy-hearted negotiations, some consequences, and a lot of steaming madness, and note that during this time, all of a sudden, a tent is placed outside of the camp, dedicated to be the place where Moses and others meet with God, I imagine, so that Mr. Moses could peek out and keep his eyes on them. And that is where we drop in on today's reading. This is the Message version of Exodus 33, 12 through 23. Moses said to God, look, you tell me lead these people, but you don't let me know who you're going to send with me. You tell me, I know you well and you are special to me. If I am so special to you, let me in on your plans. That way I will continue being special to you. Don't forget, this is your people, your responsibility. God says, my presence will go with you. I'll see the journey to the end. Moses said, your presence doesn't take the lead here. If your presence doesn't take the lead here, call this trip off right now. How else will it be known that you're with me in this? Help me and your people. Are you traveling with us or not? How else will we know that we're special, I and your people, among all other people on this planet Earth? God said to Moses, all right, just as you say, this also I will do for you. For I know you well, and you are special to me. I know you by name. Moses said, please let me see your glory. God said, I will make my goodness pass right in front of you. I'll call out the name God right before you. I'll treat well whomever I want to treat well, and I'll be kind to whomever I want to be kind. God continued, but you may not see my face. No one can see me and live. God said, look, here is a place right beside me. Put yourself on this rock. When my glory passes by, I'll put you on the cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I've passed by. Then I'll take my hand away and you'll see my back, but you won't see my face. It's easy to read this passage and think, what are you doing? Of course you can't worship something you've made yourselves. But how often, I wonder, do we take our ideas of who God is and how God is from within our own conditionings of our culture, our life experience, our environments, and other people who are like us, their understandings of God, and melt those down, blend them all together in order to fashion them into our own gods. Then bow down and worship them. Fight for them. Convince others of them. Start wars in their name. Try to control others for them. Suppress our truth because of them. Oppress others in their name. Miss opportunities because of our loyalty to them. Dismiss others' experiences because of our stone engravings upon them. We celebrate and dance because we have something tangible that we can hold in our hand, something we can feel with our physical being, something we can see with our eyes, something we understand. But just like the golden calf, if we speak to it, it does not comprehend what we say. And if it does not comprehend what we say, how then can it respond or give love or offer guidance? How then do we have a relationship with it? How do we grow and learn and evolve through it? We simply cannot. We may understand the calf and how it came to be, but just because we declare it loudly and proudly does not mean it is God. At the beginning of our passage, we drop into this conversation where Moses is feeling a bit sassy with God. It's almost like red-faced, embarrassed, and a bit frightened. He tells God, hey man, I'm just your messenger. These people are yours. It reminds me of when there's a substitute teacher, and I was a substitute teacher for a year, so I know how it is. And the sub is there for a few days because the teacher is out sick or something. And you start to think they're not coming back. And you know, they'll never know if I sneak candy from their desk and share it with all my classmates. And oh yeah, that's the kid who the teacher left in charge to keep an eye on things, but becomes the ringleader of class mutiny. Just a small comparison. There's this sense of abandon, this sense that what is found in the here and now is all there is. And instead of taking our doubt, that angst, those unsettled feelings, and honesty to God, we contrive in our minds a God that can be controlled and manipulated. A God that makes sense to us in all of our flesh and humanity. A God that we understand because we created it. And perhaps we don't go into the tent or upon that mountain for ourselves. We don't step into the unknown because the known is more comfortable and predictable. I wonder what our faith is asking us to step into today. I wonder what it's calling us to step away from. There's a feeling, a lack of clarity. So let's just go with what we know. Stick to the habits and beliefs of those who oppressed us for 400 years because it makes sense to us. But Moses steps into the holy spaces, boldly, I might add, in both raw honesty and deep awe of this incomprehensible force, and hashes out the reality. And by the way, at the end of the day, wants more of it, wants to know deeper this mysterious other. More of the mystery, more of this incomprehensible, more of this transcendent. This God who is friend, whom I can be completely honest, is also grand and beyond. This God who knows us thoroughly and is known by us is also not fully knowable. This God who is part of us, within us, and seen in us and through us is also powerful, majestic, and totally other, ineffable, unmistakably big, and unpredictable. The thing with mystery is it draws us with crumb trails, a little bit here and a little more on the next step. And just when we think we have the full scope of it, we are led further on. We have less answers than when we started off the journey. We know enough to know what is unknowable is very little, and what is needed is a lot of faith. Seminary is a place where the solid foundation of what you think or know you believe is pulled out from beneath you. That worldview, built by blocks of culture, family, education, experiences, and reinforcement of all those things, they slowly crumble as you are introduced to new information. And oftentimes, you either reorient your belief system into something that is wider, something that is open to more otherness than dependency on what you think you know, or sometimes you end up feeling duped by systems and structures that constructed your block belief foundation. You embrace the lack and fear of trusting again. The blocks fall, and you are not standing on anything at all. You are floating right there in space. You're tempted to rebuild with those same broken blocks, or float a bit until you are guided to new blocks. And maybe the placement of the block isn't just right, and you're not sure how this will fit together. And oh, there it is. Well, no, it's still not finished. And not everything just fits just right. But time goes on, and you're introduced to one that fits just right here, and the supplemental block that fits between these two. And no, that's not right, but that works. Oh, there's so much to do and so much to learn and more to build. It's not done. The otherness of God is not finished with any of us, my friend. God passes by. We might not see the face, but faith sees the back where God has been, and thus we can follow in that direction in which God goes. And we follow deeper into this mysterious other's path, not knowing perhaps where we're stepping next, seeking to stay close behind, always in sight, but never fully seen, trusting even when this mystery is so big and so deep and so wide. As we walk, we relax a bit more as we grow in trust, we realize the beauty of this strange mystery, the joy of looking, gazing deeply all around us in the vastness of this journey, out at the universe, into that ever-expanding night sky, knowing there's always, always more.